Okay. Can I check, can everybody see my title slide, creating a volunteer opportunity? Yeah, fabulous. Yep. Thank you. It's just that I've got two screens going at the moment, so what appears in front of me doesn't always correspond with what I'm looking at. So bear with me a second. Okay, so the first things first, really, in terms of recruiting volunteers and adding opportunities onto the portal, what we need to do is make sure that you're prepared, really. So have the information you need to hand to help you complete the task. So make sure you've registered on the portal as a provider first. So this picture here is an excerpt of our front page on the volunteer portal, and I will send the details out for that after the session today. If you have a role description for your volunteering role or roles, have them to hand, because they will help you complete the questions that are on the session list. And if you've got some information about the project that you're wanting to recruit volunteers for, that will also help, because it'll entice volunteers to take up the opportunity and find out a bit more. And obviously, you will have information about you as an organisation on your provider information. When we go to this live session shortly, you will see that there's different types of opportunities that you can upload. You can create a quick opportunity, or you can create a complete opportunity that has advanced functions. So a basic quick opportunity just gives really the opportunity name, its description, the location and category. And we try and discourage you really from using that unless it's a quick kind of limited time volunteering opportunity that you want volunteers to engage in. So where possible, please use this create a complete opportunity that has some advanced features. It'll show you that you can add in benefits for volunteers that will entice volunteers to join you, and we'll come to those later. You'll be able to identify the skills that your volunteers will need. You can add your own tags to that as well, so that things that people might search for that might be specific to your organisation or opportunity. And it can be one of a number of roles that are supporting an event you are holding as well. So and this may be a future session that we look at, which is if your organisation is holding an event, it might be, I don't know, a summer fair, if and when we get to do those kinds of things, maybe next year, a Christmas fair, and there's a number of different roles that you want to engage in that particular event, then you can create an event and create the opportunities around that for volunteers to join as well. You can ask for experience, so you can request that volunteers add additional information about their experience in terms of doing a similar kind of role previously. You can set some restrictions for your roles. For example, you might have an age range. It might be for female or male only. It might be that you need them to have a DBS check, or you might have to ask them for references, that kind of thing. So we'll have a look at that again. And you have also the opportunity to create flexible or sessional opportunities. So at the moment, there's a couple of when you go onto the portal, you'll be able to search or see a stream of our latest opportunities that have been uploaded. And these are examples of some that have appeared on our system in the last few weeks. Potential volunteers will see highlights from your role, so make sure that the information that you need them to know and want to grab them to join or apply for those roles is first and foremost. And titles are really important. Try not to fit a general volunteering role for your opportunity into one. we found and had many years experience that if you make it really specific, so for example, because I can see Matthew here, presenter for radio, for Halton Community Radio, so that would give an idea of exactly what that role was, or you know, volunteer programmer, so somebody that might want to kind of put a program together rather than present it. You might have I don't know, a craft volunteer for a specific project that you're running. I know that we've had Sue on the call here who has a telephone befriender, and I know that you've actually created male befriender roles, or we've done that for you, haven't we, over the last few months, so that we're targeting a specific character of volunteer for that organisation. So really be clear about what your title is, and try and add as many opportunities that are specific as possible. So when we look at sessions or flexible sessions, sessions or flexible opportunities, this is what we mean. So flexible roles are ideal for those roles where volunteers don't have a set day or time, and you can support them as and when needed. So Anne-Marie, for example, that might help you with your Home Start befrienders, befriending roles, or family liaison roles, or whatever it is you want to call them. And again, Sue, it might support you in terms of your telephone befrienders as well. But where you might have a regular occurring event, like a craft session, an activity session, you may be a charity shop where you're needing to put a timetable of when your volunteers are coming in, and you can see where the gaps are. It might be that a sessional role is more appropriate. So again, it does work for charity retail shops, and I know we've used it as well at Warrington and Halton Hospitals Trust, where we've had kind of like wayfinder volunteer roles, or you know, volunteers who work on specific wards. So we actually show when the sessions are available. It allows you to set recurring sessions, add individual ones as and when you need them, manage the number of volunteers that you have on each session. And it really helps when you're looking at, you know, because the volunteering portal isn't just about recruiting, it's about managing your volunteers as well. So it helps when you're trying to manage them in the future. So I'm going to swap over and show you how all the functions and add an opportunity in. Okay. Well, please, if you've got any questions that you can think of as we go through, add them into the chat box, and then we can chase them up after that. After we've done the session. Okay, so this is what the dashboard would look like for you when you log in as a provider. Okay, there are a lot of functions on here, and like I said, I am going to be looking at some of those. I'll give a quick overview at the end if anybody asks for it, but I want to concentrate really today on adding an opportunity. Okay, so I've kind of put together a demo crafty volunteer opportunity, and we can do that in a number of ways, and I'll add them both ways so that you can see the difference. So if we hover over opportunities and create an opportunity here, it will open up when it works. Sorry, bear with me a second. Edit already. Bear with me a minute. Just going to stop sharing a minute while I get it set up. So apologies. logged me out, so for some reason. There we go. Apologies about that. That's for safety. It does log you out. So apologies. So this is the dashboard. This is what it looks like when you've logged in onto the system. And what you need to do is go to this top menu bar here where you create an opportunity, and it will bring the create a complete opportunity or create a quick opportunity information bar up. So we're going to go to create a quick opportunity just so that you can see what that looks like and how different it is to the full opportunity. So to create a quick one, you will see throughout on both sections there's little question mark icons next to each of the fields, and they provide you with a bit of information and help. It's guidance all along the way. So if ever you're not sure what it is you're looking at or what you need to put in there, please just click on the little icon and it'll give you some examples and a bit of information. So we're going to call this craft volunteer, we'll call it weekly craft volunteer. And then you could put what date that is, what day that is on a regular. So if we go Tuesday afternoons. So it kind of gives the volunteer who's looking at this potential role an idea of when it's going to happen and what it involves before they've actually looked at the description. So in the description, again, if you click on the little help icon, it'll tell you what the things that you might want to include in there. So why volunteers are needed. So what is it you're doing and why are you doing it? What are you trying to achieve? What are their responsibilities going to be? Are they on their own or are they going to be working as part of a team? Are there going to be other staff members around? But remember, you need to make it sound interesting, and the more detail you can provide here, the better, because it will entice more volunteers. So I've created a little synopsis I'm going to put in here. So our volunteers are key to providing a welcoming environment. We just like to have, oh, it's not put it all in. So we provide a regular weekly crafty session that is informal for young women who are wanting to increase their confidence, learn new skills, and make new friends. Our volunteers are key to providing a welcoming environment. We just like to have people around who can chat and encourage people to join in. Some of the sessions we run include this. So I've just added a few things in there. You can probably think of lots of things, but these are kind of the things that I like to do in my spare time. If you do have experience in something you think would be useful and would like to lead on sessions, we can provide you with the support to explore this if you need it, or we can build it into the program if you already have those skills. Because sometimes, sometimes volunteers may want to do that kind of thing. So it's about giving them the flexibility, but allowing them to understand that there's that support in the background as well, and how often they meet. So our group meets on a weekly basis at the same time every week, 2 p.m. till 3 p.m. Again, times of sessions are really important if you're looking to recruit a particular demographic. So if you're looking at volunteer women, for example, who might be working, who might have school age children, then you might want to time your sessions to fit in with school drop off and pick off, that kind of thing. So then you put in the location type. Now with this, just for information, you can use your own address, but it might be that it's a virtual role. So it might be something that they can do at home. So you can click that, and then there's an ability at the front end for volunteers to search for virtual roles or working from home roles. So it's really important to think about this. Or you can enter a location if it's not actually going to be at your own address. There is an ability, I think, as well for the advanced longer opportunity for you to have a geographical area rather than a specific location. So I'm just going to use the provider's address for this for the moment, because we're going to have it. And then you need to choose the category. So we've already set the different categories that volunteers may be able to follow. So when a volunteer registers on the system, they can follow specific kinds of roles. And there's a whole host of them here. Can everybody see the list? You just thumbs up if you can. So there is a whole host, and you will only be able to choose one of them. So choose them carefully. Each one of these has a different colour on the edge of them as well, so they're easy to identify for people who are looking for specific roles fairly quickly. Okay, so for us, this will be, let me just see, we'll put this into community. And then you click add. And there it is. Quickly and simply, your quick opportunity is created. Just to make you aware, we will actually review these. So Ellen, Ed and I will receive an email to say that your opportunity has been added to the system, and we'll have a quick run through that, make sure it looks okay, and then either authorize it or contact you if we need a bit more information. Okay, is that helpful in terms of that quick opportunity? Anybody, any questions in the chat box yet? I can't see it. I'll just stop share for a short time. No questions in the chat box. Fabulous. Okay. So if we move on to creating an extended opportunity, bear with me again. Share. So now in your, well, if you go to your dashboard again now, so if you click this home button here, you will see when it comes up, you've got an opportunity that's waiting to be authorized now. Okay, if you click on that to manage it, it'll take you back to the session, and you can add and change different information in there. Okay. So we're going to now create the same opportunity, but I'm going to create it for in an advanced form so you can see the difference. Okay. So we go to opportunities and create opportunity, and we click on the create a complete opportunity. So Crafternoon volunteers weekly. So it's very similar to start with to our original quick opportunity, and you can toggle between the two here if you wanted to. So if you click on either of them, it will toggle. Weekly craft Tuesday afternoons. So again, I'm just going to copy and paste my information. It probably won't be the same. Blah, blah, blah. So now, as we run through, you'll see that we've got benefits and perks. Okay, so this is really useful in terms of enticing volunteers. We all know that, you know, altruism for volunteers is one of the things that we like to have, but most volunteers these days like to get something back from what they're giving in terms of their time. So, and it might be that you have a uniform, it might be that you provide additional training sessions, you might provide their lunch for them for that particular opportunity. So it might just simply be plenty of tea and coffee and being part of a great team. Anything that you put in there is a bonus. Okay. Now, in the skills required here, again, fill this in, give an idea of the sorts of skills that volunteers will need. So no crafting skills are necessary. However, being a good people person, ability to chat with individuals and engage with them in conversation. Anything you put in there would be great. And again, you've got an example, you can put examples, you can see the examples here. So make sure you put in as much as you can. Try not to just use one word answers in there. So again, we've got the category. So I'm going to go back to the community. And here now you can put in your own tags. So you can add as many of these in here as you like. Now, if you are offering a volunteer role that is COVID-19 specific, we've already got suggested tags down here. So there is the ability on the system where volunteers search for them to look at COVID specific roles. So if you are doing something like that, please add those tags in for us. Otherwise, you can put in things like, you can put crafting in there, or crafts, knitting, crochet, groups, women. You can put anything you like in there. We don't control those, they're not limited, but that they are helpful when somebody's searching for a role at the front end. So they might search for, I don't know, community groups, they might search for craft, they might, you know, to see if there's any kind of opportunities that would be helpful in that particular area. So then we come to is the opportunity accessible? So are the venue and facilities accessible to people who are wheelchair users or need aids to move around, or you know, are there loops for people who are hard of hearing or deaf? So you need to think about those kinds of things, and you've got a yes or no answer there. And you could also put more information about that up in your opportunity description as well. Let me go back down. Is the opportunity part of a larger event? So like I said earlier, you might have already created an event that you have a whole host of opportunities under, and this is where you would link those opportunities together under that one event. Like the short opportunity, we have the location type, and again, you can have the added advantage here of having it across an area with no specific locations, and then you can move this around to wherever you want on the little Google Maps there. And again, that will allow people to search within that particular area. And you can describe it here. So you could say it's particular for Halton, it's particular for St Helens, it might be a particular ward or area that you're focusing on, or it might be more general. The promotion opportunities, we're not, let's see, what does it say? So we're potentially looking in the future of linking, having our sister volunteer centres across Merseyside, having a similar system. And we're hoping then that we can possibly then allow that to cascade to other organisations that are using and other potential volunteers. We do link with other organisations that have a similar system too that are in our area. So for example, the hospital which we manage will be linked to this. And also, I think Willowbrook Hospice has actually bought the system separately to use. So we will be promoting their opportunities as well. This is useful for travelling. So if people are using public transport to get to where you are, it's useful to tell them, you know, is there a particular bus or train stop that's useful for them to look out for? Is it off the beaten track? Do they have to do a bit of a walk? So again, if you view the example, it can kind of give you an idea of what's a good good information to add in and what's bad. Catch the bus, it's not a good one, is it really? Then we look at expenses. Are you going to pay expenses, yes or no? And then you have the ability here to add files or documents. So that could be, for this opportunity, it might be an expenses form that they might want to fill in and return to you. It could be your role description. It could be information about the project. It could be a process that you're using. So if you click on the upload button, you can then go to your files and search something, find the document that you're looking for, and upload that to the opportunity there. Now it will only be available, those files and documents are only available to the volunteers that are approved to do that opportunity. They're not shown to volunteers that have just applied. So volunteers who are searching and apply for this role wouldn't necessarily be able to see your role description before they've joined and been approved. Just to make you aware of that. So then we come to the selection options. Now we are putting all of our, every single opportunity that's uploaded onto the system, we are putting on an apply first role, regardless of, because if you use the join, if they don't need to apply, it means that they're just joining. So they just automatically join your volunteering cohort. Whereas some of you I know may want to do some additional screening. You may need to do a DBS check. You may need to send off for references. You may want to do some training with them before they actually start volunteering with you. So that we always do the apply first so that you can contact them and find out some more information from them. There is the ability in the system to for references to be requested straight away. That I think we need to work on together as volunteer coordinators, because you'll all have different needs and wants in terms of what you want from a reference. So if we could create maybe a bespoke basic reference that everybody's happy with, then we can add that to the system, and any volunteer that applies for a role can then have that sent off, and it comes back automatically then to the system. As I said before, you can ask for experience when joining. If you do, it creates a little box and they will add in more information about the relevant experience or the qualifications that they might have for that opportunity. So again, that's your personal choice. This restrict to provider linked volunteers. Okay, so the linked volunteers are volunteers that we think we may have seen back in the day when we could see people face to face through our drop-in sessions. We may have linked a particular volunteer to you thinking that they might be a good fit for your organisation because we've got to know you. So then you would be able to access a list of people who we've linked to you, or your own volunteers that have joined from the system, and I'll show you how that works shortly. You can have this opportunity just for those rather than the wider volunteer database. And at the moment, I think we have something like 1,400 volunteers registered on the system. So if you click no to that, it will be open to all of those volunteers. Okay. So then you can have a maximum sessions per volunteer. So you can restrict your volunteers so that they can only do so many sessions. Not sure you'd want to do that, but there might be volunteers that, you know, kind of like snaffle up all of the opportunities and all of the sessions. so that there's not a fair and equitable kind of spread across your volunteers. So if you want to, you can put a maximum sessions there. If you don't have any, then you can just leave it blank. And this is what I was talking in terms of restrictions. So a minimum age of volunteers. So there may be volunteers that you know, they have to be 18 before they can volunteer for you. It might be that your particular project is working with people over 60, and you would prefer only to have an older age range of volunteers. And again, you can add a maximum if you wanted to, but again, you leave that blank if you don't need to. Here's where you might restrict it to female, male, or any, and I know we have done that for Sue at Mind before now. So I know that they were specifically looking for male telephone befrienders to support those referrals in that were male only and preferred to speak to somebody of a male gender. You can ignore the team leader session settings at the moment. There is the ability, as we kind of develop your knowledge and understanding of the portal, that a volunteer can be a team leader for your opportunity. So you could potentially leave that particular opportunity down to that volunteer to manage. But we'll come to that at another point. Post opportunity options. So here, if you wish to, you can add a survey link or a SurveyMonkey page that will present it to volunteers for when they log their first hours. There's more help and information in our guide for questionnaires in the resources section. But again, you don't have to have that. So are we all okay so far? Where are we up to in terms of the chat? Is there anything in there? Bear with, I'm just going to stop share so I can see the chat box. So Sue Toppin, can you add a specific role to the list if not already listed? Can you give me a bit of information about what you mean by that? Sue? Are you there, Sue? You're on mute. Sorry.
Can you hear me now,
I can hear you now. Sorry, Sue.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That's okay. So I could see after I asked the question in the other section, the one with more information, that you could add a specific role, but it's the quick option. So you've got your default list, as I guess one's of a better word. If we couldn't see something listed there and we're looking for a specific volunteer, do we not have the opportunity to add anything to that list? Would you have to come through yourself, or Anna would?
You mean the category list? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right. So the tags you can add into the category lists are already set.
Yeah.
So let me just check. Is this what you mean? Bear with me. So are you talking about this bit here, this category bit?
Yes.
So well, if there is something not there that you think should be or would like to be, then please let us know. Okay.
Yeah. So just need to let yourself know about that.
Yeah. Okay. Just send us an email. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. And I saw Amanda, you'd added, can you explain the linked volunteers again? Yeah, it's a difficult concept to understand. So, so basically, as a super admin or admin of the system, we can link particular volunteers that we think may be of benefit to you as an organisation onto the system, which will allow you to see them and communicate with them directly without them actually having to join or apply for a role. They won't be on an opportunity necessarily, but it might be that you only want to recruit from your volunteer cohorts and those that are linked to you. So they would come under, we don't have any volunteers, so I can't show you any at the moment. I'll see if I can find an example of that after we finish this, if that's all right. Is that okay, Amanda? Sorry.
That's absolutely fine, Claire. And I'm so glad that you're recording this today, because while we were going through some of that, I had a couple of people coming in, so I had to take my mind elsewhere. But yeah, so I'll enjoy being able to watch it in the peace and quiet.
No worries. Okay. So going back then, if we go back to the bottom, we've not actually posted this opportunity yet, and we've not for a particular reason. So you have the opportunity at the end point to decide whether you want it to be a session or whether you want it to be flexible. So if I show you the flexible first, and then we'll go to the sessional. You can convert your opportunities before anybody joins them to between the two, but it has to be before anybody else has joined. Once the volunteer has joined either a flexible session, a flexible opportunity, or a sessional opportunity, then you can't convert it to one or the other, just so that you're aware of that. Okay, so if we go to a flexible one, basically you can choose how many volunteers you want for this one flexible session that's run. So if it's a flexible session and it's one opportunity, you might think, well, what's the total number of volunteers I want on that altogether? And if for this, because it's a crafternoon session, and we're only looking at maybe a handful of clients or users or whatever you want to call them, then I would say we only want 2 volunteers for this opportunity, if that makes sense. Now it might be that actually you go to 10. You can choose that there. Okay, and again you've got your little question buttons there, so you can always have a look. If you can't remember what that means, you can always look at that there. And don't worry, you can actually alter this once it's gone live. You can review this at a later date, and I'll show you what that looks like shortly. Now you might have a sign up closing date. So once this date's passed, volunteers will not be able to join or apply for it. And that's different to when the opportunity starts and ends. Okay, so you have a sign up date, closing date, and then you have a start date and an end date for the opportunity. Okay, so I want this to run as an advert for a month. So we'll go to November the 20th. That's the last date that anybody can apply or join to this session. But my weekly sessions are going to be running on a regular basis before that, so we can but I want volunteers to continually start applying for the role while the sessions are running. So I'm going to start these sessions next Monday, and then the last date of that opportunity, we're going to run this for 6 months. So 26th of October, November, December, January, February, March. So I'm going to run it to April next year on a weekly basis, because that's when our funding runs out. But hopefully by then we might have more funding to run the sessions, so I can extend that at a later date. So the system's automatically added in the maximum time that volunteers can get engaged in that. Okay. And then once that's done, you can add that new opportunity. And there we have, let's see, there it is. And that will show us how many volunteers we've got, how many slots are filled, how many hours are logged. And we've only got one session because it's it's a flexible session. That's why there's only one there. Okay. Now, I thought, do you know what? Actually, it might be better if we do a sessional opportunity here. So if I go to my details, I can change. No, maybe I can't change it. Maybe you can only change the sessional to a flexible. Okay, so let me just copy all of this. I'll create an opportunity. I'll do a quick one, and we'll do it on a sessional basis so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so bear with me. Benefits, working with a great team and lots of biscuits. Community again, search tags, crafts, arts. I'll do that for now. Yes, it's acceptable. No. Use the provider's address. I'm not going to add anything. Yeah, will be ask for experience. 16 is fine. It's for anybody. No, we're not. So we'll do sessions. So at this point, we can add a recurring session or we can add sessions individually. And I'm going to show you how to add a recurring session to start with. Okay. So it might look a little bit complicated, so bear with me. So maximum volunteers per session, right? So this is every time you have a session or a block of time where you have volunteers who want to come in and support. So if you were, say, doing a charity shop retail opportunity and you need volunteers Monday to Saturday, say 9 till 5, you wouldn't want to promote the 9 till 5 as a full block because that's too long for a volunteer to want to join a session. They might want to break it up into 2 or 3 hour slots, if that makes sense. Okay, and you might only want to have 2 volunteers per session. So again, like the flexible one, we've got a maximum volunteers per session and the sign up closing date. So I'll put that for another month like we did last time, and it starts next week. Okay, so we're going to do if I do the recurring sessions, and then it'll show you what that looks like. So you might have, I need volunteers from 9 o'clock for 3 hours, and it repeats every week, and it repeats on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Okay, and it ends on April the 20th, didn't we say? Okay, so what this, before you click the add new opportunity, it's going to create weekly sessions for 3 hours from 9 till 12, right up until this date. Okay, and once you do this, you can't undo it by a block, so be really careful about when you're putting these in. We have asked for an upgrade to the system to allow us to remove sessions that are no longer available, but you can only delete them on a 1-by-1 basis, so do be careful. So I'm going to add that opportunity now. Okay, now we know we need our opportunity open if we say it was for this retail for another 2 or 3 times in the day. So we need to add in extra sessions, extra recurring sessions. So if you click on this sessions button here on the side, you'll see we've got a list of all these, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it goes all the way down. And what will happen is your volunteers will then be able to, once they've been approved, will be able to join different sessions that they're available on. And you will see here on this where it says no volunteers, you might have one volunteer. You'll be able to see which volunteers have joined different sessions. You'll also get an email when somebody's joined a session as well, so don't worry, you won't have to keep logging in and checking. The system's automated and it'll keep you up to date. It'll also tell you if somebody's left an opportunity or a session as well. Okay, so we want to add more, so we click in this add a session here, and we need to do another repeating session. So again, it starts on the 26th, it's weekly. Every week, it's 2 volunteers we're looking at. It repeats on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and we go from 12 for 3 hours, and it repeats again. So I know it's kind of a bit repetitive, but it's the easiest way to do this, and it has improved over the years. So if we check all of that's right before you add it, otherwise you'll end up with lots of sessions that you might have to delete. And then you click the add button, and you should see when it's worked. If you go back to your sessions again, you've got your Monday, 9 and 12. Can you see? They're all added in. And then you repeat it again for your 12 till 3 and 3 till 5, or however many times. Does that make sense to everybody? Are there any questions? I'm going to stop sharing shortly. So if anybody wants to unmute and ask if there's anything specific you want me to look at or you want me to highlight. Is it all as clear as mud?
I think it's when we come to use it, the questions will, for me, probably I'll start asking questions when they come to use it. It makes sense in how you've explained it, Claire. My sort of mind, you can't, just bear with me. Is that any Claire? Is that any better?
That's better. I can hear you now.
No. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering, sort of, in terms of like for us at the hospice, it's really, the person themselves is really important for a fit at the hospice as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of meeting the people, we still have the opportunity to meet those people when they've applied, I'm guessing.
Yes, of course.
So that shouldn't stop that process.
Shall I show you what it looks like then once somebody's applied for a role? Would that be helpful? Now,
could I just add, Claire, before you go into that, because I would like to just pick up on what Sue is saying. In terms of our process here for volunteers with CGL, they would obviously need to come and be interviewed, references, they have to apply for a DBS with our organisation, and then the training would come after that. So it would be an initial sort of advert, if that makes sense, Claire.
Yeah, but well, you could keep them on the application system until they're approved, and then use it as your management tool after. So once they've gone through your screening processes, you can click approved, and then they can start to join those sessions. Behind the scenes, if you already have volunteers that are engaged in this system, in your opportunities, and you want to add those in without them going live, you can then invite your volunteers to join the platform as well.
Right.
So that you can use it as a management tool before you know, before you start accepting new volunteers as well. Christine?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Amanda, we have that system at the hospital. So somebody will apply for an opportunity, come along and apply for an opportunity, and then they have to go through a recruitment process.
Yeah.
Like you said, an interview, references, DBS check, and then training. And only once they've finished all of that, will they actually be a live volunteer able to go into the hospital and work on an opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly possible on this system to do that. And the system allows you also, this is what I have learned over the last few months, the system allows you also to track where they are up to in the system. So, you know, once the references come in, so if you've got a couple of people that are using the system, each one can see what's going on, which is very useful.
Yeah, it is. Thanks, Christine. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly look at, bear with me again, go back to, I'm going to look at it from our point of view, from a VCA point of view, so you can see an opportunity. In fact, what I might do is, bear with me a second, I'll just share that, but in the background what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some of us as staff have created our own little profiles on the main database, so I might link them or get them, impersonate them and apply them for that, well, I might have to link them, actually add them in. I can do that, bear with. So talk amongst yourselves just for a short, no, actually, I'm going to show you it because it might be easier. Right. So, let me just stop that share for a minute. And I'm going to share. What I might do actually first is I'm
on as a street champion, Claire, if you want to find me as a...
No, I think what I'm going to do is stop recording to start with, so that we've got the basics of creating an opportunity, and then I'm going to share my screen around